Discourse 2. Beloved brothers of light, for such I am going to call all of you who have styled yourselves as Minutemen. Today I take it for granted that you realize that expression means, I shall use one of your expressions, on your toes, alert every moment, watching, guarding, seeing what you can do to more fully glorify yourself and your world, thus spreading out into the activity about you the glory of this presence which waits for the opportunity to release its powers into action for you. For remember, the only means by which the power of the presence can find activity is through your mind and body, your feeling world. And remember, your feeling world is the most important of all, for it is your powerhouse, and your feelings do act in your world. The feeling is the most remarkable thing in all human experience. Your attention is powerful, but your feeling is still more powerful and is the most powerful thing in your use today, once you understand that you are responsible and must consciously direct it. May I offer a suggestion to you, gentlemen? Not only call forth the perfecting activity of your world, but take up a definite activity for charging the powers of your business into action for your success. Your business is important. Your outer activity is important as a means, a channel by which you can pour forth the powers of your presence into the activity of mankind. Now, I have not said much about the Minutemen's activity because I was waiting to see just what, of their own volition, they were going to do. They were determined to do. But since it is sweeping over America, I feel I should very definitely say something today for your encouragement and strength. If the businessman, remember, we should not use that word if, when the businessmen come to realize in the groups, even as you have a number here today, what you can do for yourselves and for each other in calling forth the powers of the presence to charge its activity and success into your business activity, I tell you, dear people, you can do wonders for yourselves in calling the presence forth. Charge it into your business and think, if you have 100 men, if you have 500, then each one has 500 times his own effort charged into his business world for his success. Do you not see how you cannot fail in your achievement or anything upon which you direct your attention in the outer business activity if a group of businessmen kept charging the powers of the presence into action for success? Of course, your motives must be kept all right, because if there is a wrong motive, if a wrong feeling is acting, it will clothe this energy that goes forth. Remember, all that you can use of the intelligence that ever came forth to any human being on earth comes from that presence. You sometimes are inclined to think that you gather ideas from without. And you do, but gentlemen, think what you are doing. You are gathering other men's ideas through other individuals. Some are good, some are not. Now then, why not, in your present understanding of this great presence, turn to it? And each one, every night before you sleep, turn your attention there and ask it to give you the perfect ideas concerning the conducting of yourself and your business. Do you not see within that you would call forth the infinite powers of light, strength, courage, and intelligence to govern your activity of your world, and you could make it whatever success you chose to? There would be nothing to stand before you in that activity. Then, as you have your business stabilized, successfully acting, you can call the presence to provide someone there to take charge of your business. You find yourself enabled to have the means and time to have the directing intelligence to go out and spread this very thing among others who in their heart want to know of this great light. Sometimes there are those who, through preconceived ideas or by listening to foolish gossip or something like that, think this is something, shall we say, far-fetched. But you know, gentlemen, that it is not. You know that the presence is the source of all life, intelligence, and activity. Without it, no human being would have freedom. No human being would have intelligence with which to act. No one would have power to accomplish anything. Notice, in your call to the presence, whether it is in your business, whether it is in your own expansion of your light, or in gathering the powers of achievement, you call your presence into action, and love, wisdom, and power are acting in balanced form. No one point of that triangle can act separately. If the power of divine love is acting without wisdom and power, it is apt to be extreme. If wisdom is acting alone, it becomes cold and unfeeling by the human qualification. If power is there acting, it will make everyone fear you. We watched a gentleman in Washington, D.C. many years ago try it out. He conceived his idea of calling forth some one of these activities of knowledge, and he happened to focus upon power. In a short time, every one of his friends and associates faded away because they became afraid of him, because they felt this power surging all the time as he kept gathering it. You can gather about you whatever force you want to, and it will act. But if it is power, it may easily become destructive. If it is the power of love, as divine love, it may run into the sex activity if ungoverned by wisdom. If wisdom is acting alone, it may easily become cold and unfeeling. The only power that is the achievement of success in all the world of activity of mankind is love, wisdom, and power in balance. And no human being can hold himself in balance without the power of his presence, which is your call to the presence to release its powers of action in and through you and out into your world. With most, your presence is acting, which is love, wisdom, and power in balance. It is the greatest thing ever on the face of this earth for mankind, whether you wish to use it in your business, whether you wish to use it in the expansion of the light in the heart center, the anchorage from your presence, or whatever it is you wish to do. Let me suggest to you this. If you are in business and you have established a business office, go to your office before anyone else is there in the morning and charge it with peace and activity. Charge it with the power of love, wisdom, and power to spread out among your employees and to produce its harmonious activity and hold its dominion there. Then call forth the power of divine justice in and through yourself and your people, and you will have such magnificent activity as the world has always sought but has never known, except in a few instances. That is why, gentlemen, in your activity as Minutemen, you can utilize this great power. And that is why your attention is called to the presence, not only as a spiritual activity, because it is more educational than spiritual. Life is educational, and all this furnished by your presence is the activity of life. It is not anything unusual, but it is the practical understanding and application of the laws of your life. Now, these currents of energy are flowing in and through you all the time, perhaps in only a fragmentary manner to what you can call forth by your attention and application, but taking it as the ordinary individual today, the power is flowing through. Not understanding this, human beings constantly requalify it with discord, and it carries that discord into their worlds. Then it suddenly looms up before them, and mankind wonder why their success is not what they want it to be. It is only because mankind have never understood the very life that is flowing in and through them and out into their world by which they attain success, achievement, or whatever it is. You think you make physical efforts, and of course you do. But what is in that effort? That energy from your presence is sweeping through you out into your world. Do you not see? That is the only power of achievement there is. If that energy, which does not discriminate of itself, if you understand the powers of your presence and that you can call forth its great wisdom to direct that energy, then there is no longer any question in your life of the complete and full power of success and of achievement, wherever that energy is directed. The difference is between bringing it to a focal point, which is by the power of your attention, or as you would sweep out like a motion of your hand, there would be no definite achievement. As you spread a thing broadcast like that, it is scattered energy. But when you understand the powers of your presence and the focusing of your attention upon given objective, you focus all the powers of your presence right into that objective and hold it there with definite precision and action until the very power of that energy compels that through into achievement. It is the most definite thing in the world before mankind if you look upon it as the practical application of your life, not anything unusual. Do not let yourself begin to think of your mighty I Am presence as something mystical or fantastic. It is not. It is the most practical thing in the world and the only thing that makes anything permanent. In the failures and losses that have beset mankind, such a thing would be impossible if their attention was held firmly upon the presence. I say to you, gentlemen who are I Am students, remember that you must hold definite, invincible protection of your presence about you and your affairs every day. Do not miss it. If there has been something, shall we say, for the sake of expression, destructive in your life stream in some previous embodiment, and that now tries to surge forth, if you are not using that invincible protection and the violet consuming flame, do you not see how the law of your being would allow it to come forth and find expression today in your activity? This is the natural thing. It is absolutely bound to do it unless you call sufficient protection from the presence and use the violet consuming flame to dissolve all that comes forth. Because remember, in your activity of your attention to the presence, you are either consciously or involuntarily calling all of this accumulation forth to be dissolved and consumed because you are its creator. You have to get rid of it. And whether you want to do it or not, the very law of your being, the presence, is calling this forth. Therefore, unless you use the violet consuming flame, some of these things will find expression in your outer life, and that is not necessary. We have seen conditions where I wish so much the individuals would understand and use the violet consuming flame and keep these destructive things, I mean discordant or destructive things, from coming forth, because those are things, if you do not understand, that will be discouraging, and there is no need of that. You have touched the victory of life, the victory of all achievement. You are not at the mercy of anything, not even human creation. You are the victory of life, and remember it. There is not a thing in the world that can daunt you or cause you 1 minute's failure in the future. You are master of your world if you will call the power of your presence into action and keep yourself harmonious. Remember, gentlemen, you have no chance unless you will keep your feelings harmonious, and there is no provocation in the outer world that warrants your being disturbed. When you know the powers of this presence, you will be able to control yourself and keep yourself harmonious. Therefore, keep calling it forth and charging it definitely into your business, into your home and your activity. It is the commanding presence. Nothing can stand before it, because where light expresses, darkness disappears. I want to tell you of this magnificent activity in the opening of your meeting, singing Minutemen's song, etc. I cannot tell you what great joy it gives me, because it does release a joy and enthusiasm to start the activity. Then I release the powers of the presence in your meetings and your decrees, and it goes out into your worlds and begins its mighty work. Do not forget it, blessed brothers of light. You are no longer subject to limitations. If you need money and your motive is right, beloved ones, say, Mighty I Am Presence, release to me now through the power of divine love this money that I require for use. Then, if channels be used, the wisdom of the presence will select and direct those channels that will cooperate through the power of divine love and divine order to give you the assistance you want. But do not have any secret motives in your heart, gentlemen, or in your feeling world that you want to put something over on someone or deceive them. If you do, you will be the one that will be deceived. The great law of life will no longer permit this thing among mankind. Therefore, go forth with the power of the universe, and nothing can stop your achievement. Call blessings upon your employees and call blessings upon everybody that wants what you have. If you are putting forth some commodity, call blessings forth that it will bless everybody that it touches. Oh, the power of blessing, gentlemen. It is no sentimental thing. It was once thought to be only for the feminine activity, but gentlemen, today mankind is coming to know that the power of blessing is a divine activity of life and is the most protective power in all human experience. The power of blessing called forth. And why is it so? Gentlemen, I always try to be so practical. I do not tell you a thing can be, but I tell you why it is so. Because that power of blessing is charging forth self-luminous, intelligent substance that enfolds the person, place, or condition, and is the light of your presence, which knows no resistance or interference. Then why is it not practical? Why is it not a power for good? Why is it not a power for your achievement? Remember, as you call forth this greater and greater enthusiasm of the powers of your presence, naturally you will become more harmonious. You will have a greater strength and power to convince you of your own power of achievement, which you know comes from your presence. Then all of this uncertainty of yourself and wavering in the consciousness or feeling world will cease to be, because the power of your presence is flowing forth, which is all confidence, all power of achievement. Therefore, all of the conditions that existed in your feeling world must cease, because this power that comes through just sweeps it out, and there is nothing which can remain before that light. You see how everything is practical in this understanding of life? I tell you, gentlemen, that you in Philadelphia today could take a group of 100 men, or ladies for that matter, and with that firm, unyielding determination, with no wavering in your feeling world of the powers of the presence, could transform any city in the United States in 1 year's time. We are coming to this point where we shall show you ere long the proof of those words. No longer is mankind subject to the mistakes they have created. All mankind have made plenty of mistakes, but it is no reason why you need continue them. I want you, if you will, to try this out. All of you join each other, and if one of your group needs a little added assistance, decree and call the powers of the presence to take command of him, his mind, body, and world, and produce its perfection there. If you will do that, you can give the most marvelous assistance that is possible to conceive of. Then, if one is not quite sure of his own application, you will give him added courage, and with dynamic power, you produce results. After you see a few results, your confidence gains. With such power, there is no longer any question. Just see the messenger today. Oh, and a few years ago, he was a timid lad whose sympathy was so great. Today, a power, because the human element has been largely dissolved and has disappeared, and that is why. The powers of the presence, when called into action, will steadily and surely take its dominion in your mind and body, and you will presently find yourself able to do that which you could not conceive of even a few weeks before. Remember, the power of your presence, I say to you, is self-luminous, intelligent substance. And as you call it forth and it flows in, through, and around your body, it simply takes command of even the atomic structure of your body, of the cells of your body. Therefore, as it gains, there is no timidity. There is only the consciousness of divine wisdom, love, and power acting, which knows no resistance of any human qualities. Therefore, when you go out to meet your fellow men in the requirement of your business activities, you will not feel that someone, because they have called forth a dominating power, can sweep you under because of that dominant human quality that is there. I ask you, gentlemen, to read where the power of the messenger came forth for that man at the mine and dissolved his human dominating qualities. Remember, you meet that thing everywhere you go, less today than a year ago, because of the great and mighty decrees that have gone forth, but still you will meet plenty of it yet. Whenever you go forth, call the powers of your presence into action before you come into the presence of others. Mighty I am presence, you are in command here. There is no human being who can dominate or influence me. Therefore, you take command of this mind and body. You act there or speak here. You will find there will be no desire upon the part of anyone to try to browbeat or dominate you, but be sure when you begin to see this manifesting, be careful that no human feeling comes within you to dominate another. If you do, you will undo your work. I tell you, this is as definite and practical as your mathematics. If you will continue to call this forth, just steadily and surely the powers and perfection of the presence will take command of your body and not only produce strength and health in your body, but flow out into your world and steadily and surely take their dominion in all your endeavors and make you a success and one to be honored among men. Do you realize, gentlemen, what that would mean to you as you move among your own circle of people? One to be honored and looked upon as one who is a minister of divine justice. Whatever you ask for yourself, ask for all mankind. Then you will be fulfilling the law. But watch, stand guard over yourself that as you begin to see your achievement, no human quality begins to find expression. Every time your human begins to assert itself, make it shut up and sit down. Mighty I am presence. You are the only acting presence here. Don't let my human act and disturb all this. Then, as you hold yourself harmonious in all conditions, you will find the powers of your presence will flow forth and out into your world and harmonize it. And all will be glorious activity wherever your attendance is directed, because your attention is a mighty power. It causes the energy of that which you call forth from the presence to flow forth to a given objective upon which your attention is fixed. And there is not anything that could prevent its success or action but yourself. You are the authority in your world. You are the decreer of how this energy is going to act for you. Do not forget it. As you understand and feel this great power, then how at ease and restful will all feeling within you become. That great tension and tightening of the muscles and nerves of the body when anxiety besets you will just let go and subside. Then you will feel rest, and in that peace and rest is the open door to the power of your presence to flow forth. Remember, gentlemen, at first, with some individuals, some natures, it requires dynamic application to release a sufficient added power of the presence to give you the assurance of its operation. But after you have continued for some time, easier, more and more natural it becomes, until finally you find it almost involuntary with its great volume of action. Try it out, and you will see every word we and the messengers tell you is the law of life, which you can set into action if you will. But you must not be impatient. You must not be subject to the suggestions of those about you. If a man comes up to you who understands nothing about this work and says, "I am astonished that you are mixed up in something of that kind," gentlemen, you will meet that almost everywhere you go, more or less, sooner or later. Now you have to be strong enough to look that person straight in the eye and say, "Why should you judge something of which you know nothing? Don't try to spew your venom into my world." And when they see you are positive, they will leave you alone. Gentlemen, the suggestion of the outer world is the cause of all failure of mankind today. Not only the direct suggestion through the spoken word, but through the feeling. People these days have learned that they can sit down and project thought and feeling at you, and you respond to it. Now then, the need today of mankind is to protect themselves and call the present to draw that tube of light about themselves. Then that thing cannot penetrate and act through the feeling world. You do not know how much you are acting according to the touching of something outside into your feeling world. Gentlemen, remember that still in the feeling world of mankind is a very destructive power. The great cosmic beings are cleansing and purifying with great speed. But if you knew the accumulation that was on the Earth's atmosphere caused by the discordant creations and generation of mankind, then you would know it cannot be done in a flash of lightning. Great achievement is being accomplished in the removal of this discordant element and the dissolving of mankind's own activity. Therefore, be patient, be firm, be determined in your application, and there will nothing daunt you in its power of success and achievement. Today, I think I shall say this because there are those here from New York. In no one city is there a condition as did exist in New York before the last 2 classes there. But by our seeing and knowing this, the tremendous activity that has touched mankind has been governed to a very large degree. The financial failures through the panics in New York, of course it reached to other cities, but that was the heart center of the activity, charged the atmosphere of New York. You have no idea. That suggestion through the frantic fear generated through thousands of individuals who lost their all, as they thought, made a condition there that was the most destructive outside of actual war conditions. Therefore, wherever there is a stock exchange activity, gentlemen, there is a focus of mighty destructive power. Now then, if you have been acting in those activities, do not be suddenly frightened. Go on, call the presence into action to place you in your own perfect activity of service. Then you will just blend, as it were, into your perfect activity of service. Do not do anything drastic. Do not make drastic changes, but just call your presence into action, and you will do the perfect thing you should do at the moment. today in the marvelous opportunity that is yours. And may I remind you that in these conditions that existed through the great losses of so many, if they had understood, they would have known that could not be but a temporary thing. Their same power, their same ability was there by which they achieved. And if they would have said to that appearance, "Now, you cannot daunt me. You cannot scare me. I have the same powers that I had before. Therefore, I can begin right over," they would have gone forward to the same achievement or greater. But they gave way before that destructive feeling of the sinister force of mankind, which wanted them to give way. You today, as students of this understanding of the great law of life, when people speak to you, if they show any interest, the first thing, dear people, tell them this is the law of life. And the words "I am" are the drawing of a mighty power or focus at your point in the universe in the use of those words. There is nothing unusual about it. Make the people feel the practicality, the naturalness of it, the very first thing before they begin to wonder whether it is something mystical, unusual. You see, all understanding of the laws of life has been clothed with mysticism, something mysterious. There is nothing mysterious about this work. When all is understood, it is practical. Therefore, put it forth with that feeling to mankind everywhere you go, and you will find very few people will oppose it. But gentlemen, if individuals seem inclined to argue, change the subject and disappear, because there is nothing gained in any kind of argument. It is one human being's opinion against another's, and they remain the same when they have finished. In the messenger's attitude of life from early childhood, he brought forth that understanding. He has always said, "If you care to listen to my idea, very well and good. If not, just the same." He has never allowed people to argue with him. Therefore, people realize that. If they are inclined to listen, they are in a condition where you can give hope. But if their mind is just like that, ready to charge forth with their ideas, you cannot accomplish anything. It is a waste of time and energy. So stand guard always over these conditions. Dear blessed ones, remember, I hold your hand to your victory. All I want, blessed ones, is to see that your motive is right, that you are earnest and sincere to the law, and I shall hold your hand to your victory. I mean it. We have entered into this activity of light for the victory of life to all mankind who want it. The ascended masters, and there are thousands of them, are ready to give assistance at everyone's call, for this is the victory of light. Remember, when the light comes forth, darkness disappears, and limitation of any kind is darkness. Mankind have drawn themselves into that by the lack of understanding of the present, which they have forgotten entirely. Now they have been reminded. The opportunity is before them. They can have anything their hearts desire. What is the desire within you? What is the desire? That you have freedom and every good thing you require for use. The law of life, the light that is beating your heart, gives you that desire. Remember that everything that you use is in that stream of light. Then every quality that is there must come from the presence. If you have reclothed it by your qualification, it is no fault of the presence, because it gives you that energy. Then, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to use it constructively, or are you going to clothe it with discord and use it destructively? The choice is yours, and there is no one who can say you nay. I cannot say to you, you shall do thus and so. But so long as your motive is right, and you use constructive desires and feelings, I shall go to the limit to help you to success, freedom, happiness, and everything your heart desires for your blessing and freedom. I thank you.